Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Shamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Hump Day, Wednesday, January 17th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your week. Not so much. It'll always be fly Eagles fly, but season's over for them. Pulling for either the Detroit Lions or the Houston Texans to take it this year. So really, just honestly, a team that hasn't won the Super Bowl, that's pretty much who I'm going for. So in any event, let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits so you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. And we're going to go ahead and bring up that calendar for today. As you can see, we are going to have Mercury, which is going to sextile Neptune today, and we also have the first quarter square to the moon, with the moon being in Aries. So those are the two major aspects of the day, building up, of course, to this weekend, 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's going to be a very intense weekend for sure. At least we have the moon in Taurus during all that energy, so to help ground it. But let's go ahead and take a look at today's chart, shall we? So, all right. So starting here, of course, at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do have, of course, this moon here, which is right smack dab between Chiron and the North Node. We do have Mars over here at 9 degrees, coming off the degree of which Mercury retrograded at. The Sun and Pluto are coming together closer to their amplifying conjunction, which is they're 3 degrees apart now. So their energies are continuing to pressurize and to amplify each other, and that's what a conjunction is. The energies amplify each other, whatever bodies are there. So yeah, we got some pretty interesting energy on this hump day. Like I said, we will start to see this Mercury. It's going to hit. Oh wait, hold on. I have it set to day here. Let me set it to hours. There we go. We will see, of course, Mercury. By the time it hits 10 a.m., we'll come to that 4th degree, and it's going to begin to sextile over to Saturn. Although Saturn is almost at 5 degrees, but they're getting close. I mean, we're going to see this sextile throughout the day. And, sextiles bring up opportunities. With this one, being that this is Mercury in Capricorn, which is definitely going to be a little bit more focused on communication when it comes to our career and legacy and what we're known for and what we're looking to build in our life, especially with a Mars that's exalted here also in Capricorn. And Saturn, of course, is the ruler of Capricorn. So there's a great opportunity here that opens up to where we can start to see a bit of, the dream world or the fantasy that we're wanting to sort of integrate into our life. Being that this is 4 degrees, 4 is the number of Uranus. So this can definitely be something that kind of comes out of nowhere. Maybe you have a conversation on a day like today where it may kind of shock or surprise you, but also this could be someone, maybe you get noticed today. This is a day where someone may notice you, may come out of nowhere and then be like, hey, you're doing a great job there. You're doing some good work there. And you may, they may recognize you for your accolades. That kind of energy kind of comes up. That's what I'm feeling here, especially by this time that moon is going to hit the 20th degree. By the time that Mercury makes this aspect, it would have come over the North Node. And like I said earlier this week, we are kind of trigger happy right now and wanting to take certain actions and move forward certain things, but we don't have the full picture. And I don't think we ever really will have the full picture. I don't think we ever really have the full picture in life, but we do the best that we can. But Mercury is still in its shadow, right? We still have to consider that Mercury is still in its shadow. Now, granted, it's moving faster now. Mercury's moving about 1 degree a day. Remember, Mercury can move up to 2 degrees a day. So Mercury is moving a little bit faster now, right? The only planet that's really slow per se is Jupiter. Even though Jupiter is direct, it's still moving rather slowly. We also have to consider that Uranus will be coming direct at the end of the month. So we're still about, I think it's like what, Uranus stations direct. I thought I had it in here, but I'm pretty sure it's like the 27th or the 28th or something when Uranus actually stations direct. So we are coming into all planets finally direct, but we're not quite there yet, right? So I feel like a day like today is going to bring up some opportunities to, kind of peer into the future, kind of see what's possible, realize that teamwork does make the dream work in many ways. And this is still an exercise in trust, I feel, with this kind of energy. This is an exercise of like, we may not necessarily have the full details. We may not necessarily have a full idea of how things are going to work out. But this is, like I said, an exercise in trust. And now that the moon has gone over the North Node, this is really this is really going to be calling up like your character, who you are. Do you know who you are? This is a very know thyself kind of energy. Or are you going to outsource yourself with the whole South Node in Libra just to appease people? And that's the interesting thing about a day like today, is because we will see that moon square the sun. And it does happen here at 27 degrees. So like right towards the end of the day, at least here on the East Coast, we're going to see the moon square the sun at 27 degrees. And of course, with this degree, 2 plus 7 is 9, and 9 is Martian energy. 9 is his number of action. So, and the moon is in Aries. So come the end of Wednesday, you're probably are going to be inspired to take some sort of action and to move in the direction of something that you're wanting to bring forth, something that you're wanting to manifest, especially with Mars here at 10 degrees of Capricorn, and 10 is the number of manifestation. So I think a day like today kind of reveals where we currently are, what we've already manifested, but also gives us this opportunity to really, trust in the process and see that things can really work out in our favor. The squares are typically challenging, right? Whenever you have a square, it's typically a challenging aspect. The challenge here is whether or not you're going to be true to who you are. That's the whole moon here in Aries. It's in the decan ruled by Jupiter too, right? Jupiter, of course, which is still, like I said, it's direct in Taurus. It finally has gotten back to 6 degrees. So and 6 degrees of Taurus is actually a pretty important degree as well. This is around the area that we had the recent eclipse, actually. It wasn't in Aries, actually. It was actually in Taurus. So that's the interesting thing about this. So Jupiter has been highlighting this spot for a while, and if you want to just kind of go back, I'll show you what I mean by that eclipse. This happened when the sun was here at the end of, let's see, let me go back. Now I can show you what exactly I'm talking about. Let's see, hold on, I went back too far, didn't I? Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. It's around here, and then if I move this forward just a little bit, yeah. So it was around here. You can see that we had a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, right? And it was around these degrees, this 5-6 degrees, right? So Jupiter has finally come off of that degree during this, which means that there's an opportunity to expand past this point. This lunar eclipse that we had, there's an opportunity for us to expand past this point. Now, of course, we are here, let me move this forward again, back to where we currently are. And you can see Jupiter, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees. So it was a couple of days. It was literally just earlier this week on Monday where we saw Jupiter come off of that degree. How ironic was it that happened when the moon was in Pisces, getting ready to ingress, and the sun was in sextile to Neptune. There's a lot of opportunities right now to see the beauty that's happening all around us, but it's kind of tough to see that when there's so much strife and discord when it comes to the Aries energy, right? So that's the weird thing about this. But Jupiter has come off that spot, and we're going to see Mercury come into its trine with Jupiter here shortly. So it's like everything is really setting up for us to be like, wow, I have had these tools all along. I have had these beautiful things set up all along. You are being set up right now to manifest a life that you never would have thought was possible. And I truly do believe that. Is it going to require some work? Yes. Is it going to require some effort? Yes. Absolutely. But you are being miraculously set up right now, because we're having some, like I said, we're having nice aspects to this. We're going to have, like I said, Mercury is going to trine Jupiter here. We have some sextiles today. So even though we're dealing with the square, all the universe is asking you to do, and is saying for you to do, is for you to really be your true authentic self, and to know thyself, and to not overly identify with the traumas, with the wounds, with the scars, not to overly identify with that. Because that over-identification is not going to work anymore. It's going to seem like it's going to work for a little bit longer, but we're just in the buffer zone. It's like things will happen, and then we have to kind of catch up, if you will, to the energy. We have to kind of catch up to the energy. But the shift has already happened. The shift has already happened. It's just things are taking time to kind of flow down the river, if you will, for us to receive and actually see the changes, if you will. So you got to remember, with a day like today, like I said, first quarter square, we're wanting to take some sort of action for sure. We're wanting to move things forward. You got to remember too, this Uranus is still in quincunx to this South Node Libra energy at 19 degrees. They are still in quincunx. So that's that awkward stare from across the room that I like to talk about. And it's weird. It's groups of people that are trying to figure out their values and what's worthy, and at the same time trying to be diplomatic and trying to seek balance in areas with people that it just may not necessarily happen. It's like banging your head against the wall, trying to convince somebody of something, and you just keep doing it over and over and over again, expecting a different result, and it's just simply not going to happen. It's just simply not going to happen. What will open up? You got the semi-sextile between Uranus and the North Node, which has been happening for a while now. We've been seeing this energy for a while. A semi-sextile, if a sextile is an opportunity, the semi-sextile is just sort of like one person just kind of deciding. You know what I mean? Just, it's like sort of like, okay, it's like putting yourself in the right place at the right time, if you will, for an opportunity to potentially happen, if you will, right? It's just the universe kind of putting you in that spot, and then the opportunity could arise there. But we have to deal with this awkward energy. So are we going to be overly diplomatic to try and appease other people's, values, or are we going to confuse other people's, like, what they value as our values? And is there common value amongst people? Is there common value amongst humanity? Can we live peacefully amongst each other, even if we don't necessarily approach spirituality the same way, if we don't approach economics the same way? Is that possible to do that? These are the questions that have been coming up for a bit. And of course, like I said, with all this energy now in Capricorn and Aries, things are starting to heat up. Things are starting to get very fiery, and people are wanting to see some change and actually take some action. This is cardinal energy, so this is about directing the energy, right? So people are wanting to they want results. Cardinal signs are very result oriented, right? They want to see results. Aries is a little impatient about the results, but they want to see results. Cancer, they want to just heal the world, right? They want to heal the world, but they want to see results. Libra, trying to bring the balance and harmony. If they don't see it, they don't see the results, then they try to do something about it. Capricorn is super result oriented, right? They're all about the numbers, they're all about the results. So that's where we are right now. So we have to, despite all that, despite all of the things that are happening in the world, despite all of the craziness, despite everything that is being shoved in our face on a day-to-day basis, despite all of these crazy energies, despite all the solar flares, despite all of that, we have to still go within and to remain in vibrational integrity. That's super important right now. We have Venus, of course, here at 23 degrees, and that was the degree, I want to say that was the degree that Mercury stopped at. I want to say that was the degree that it stopped at. Now it's 22 degrees. 22 degrees was the degree that it stopped at. So that means that Venus has just recently come off of that degree. It just came off, it just hit 22 degrees literally Tuesday, and then Wednesday it comes off of that degree. So now Venus is entering the shadow zone of Mercury, if you will, and now Venus is here in that spot. So it's like now we have Venus, which is how we like to receive and like how we like to bring things in, and of course this has to do with beliefs, and Mercury, which is trying to recalibrate the belief structure and what we think about these sort of things, what we think about philosophy, and our thoughts on travel are shifting right now. You're seeing all these things with planes come up and Boeings, and it's like freaking planes crashing and them trying to figure out, all right, like, are we going to have to like restructure the way that the planes look so we can prevent these things from happening? Are people going to be able to travel like they used to? There's a lot of things that are coming up right now. And now with Venus entering this space, it's going to start to bring that energy up. Now, the good thing is, of course, and I didn't mention it, forgive me, I know I'm kind of hopping all over the place, but the moon did trine Venus today as well. So we do have that energy. So there's like a nice harmonious energy there as well. Now, granted, Venus doesn't really care to be in Aries, much rather be in Libra, but this does bring up like a nice little energy here, being that it's 23 degrees, 2 plus 3 is 5, which is mercurial. So this can be a very inspiring moment here, since these energies are harmonizing. This can be a very inspiring moment for us to, kind of think about our beliefs and, be open to the possibilities. Be open to, honestly that. Being open to the possibilities. This could be maybe a new philosophy. Maybe you watch a YouTube video. Maybe you become inspired by somebody. It's going to come through some sort of communication, right? It's going to come through some sort of communication. But you can be inspired today by somebody or something to move forward. And then maybe you receive a new philosophy on life that will allow you to, foster that creativity, foster that vibrational integrity, which is super, super important, right? So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be happening around 4 p.m. So right smack dab and not smack dab in the middle of the day, but it's 4 p.m. It's kind of towards the end of the workday for some people, depending upon where you are on the East Coast. Yeah. But yeah, I think that, today will be an interesting day for sure. I mean, even if you look at just the overall scores, Venus is plus 10, Jupiter is plus 6, the Sun is plus 4, Mars is plus 4, Saturn is plus 3, Mercury is plus 1. The only one that's negative is the Moon. The Moon is minus 5. So that's the only one. Mars is still out of bounds, albeit barely, but it's still out of bounds. So I think that's the weird thing about it. This is sort of like an exercise in trust. This is like a trust exercise where we have to be like, the universe is asking us, all right, jump. And we're like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, go ahead, jump. It's like, is there like a trampoline down there? Are there just like spiky rocks at the bottom? Like, am I gonna just sprout wings and fly on the way down? Like, what's gonna happen? And there could be some fear when it comes to that. And that's, like I said, that's the sun and Pluto coming closer together. And their energies are amplifying more and more and more as the week continues. So yeah, you throw the square on there, you throw the sextile with Mercury and Saturn, you throw Mercury coming off the degree that Mercury stationed direct at, and Jupiter coming off the degree that the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus happened, and you have a little bit of edgy energy, but you also have the universe showing us and opening up those doors, like, you can move forward, you can step through, you can step into your power. More and more and more, bit by bit. So we don't have to rush into it. There may be a propensity to want to rush into it because the moon is in Aries, but we don't have to rush into it. And I think that's kind of the beautiful thing, is that after this, the moon's going to go into Taurus, the sun and Pluto will come together, Mercury will exit its shadow on Sunday, and then that is the major shift. And really, you can say that that's the beginning of the new year. Is right then. We are still kind of in the prologue, if you will, of 2024. We are still in the prologue of 2024. So let's go ahead and hop into the cards. If there's anything that you get out of this video, I know I kind of hopped all over the place with this one, but if there's anything that you get out of this, is that a door is opening up, and we are being called to step through, and we are being called to step through and have trust and have faith that things will work out. And even though it may look scary, you are a lot more prepared than you realize. You are a lot more prepared to step through than you realize. And it's just one step. You don't have to run out the gates. You don't have to run out the gates. It's just taking that one. You've already been taking steps, but it's just take the first step. I have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Yeah, we don't want to go off and make any type of action based off of just pure, raw, unadulterated emotion that is not checked by anything else, right? The Queen of Wands in reverse is an individual that, has a lot of power, a lot of, creativity, a lot of charisma in many ways, a lot of passion, but being reversed, this can be like passion kind of leading you down a way where you might dig yourself into a hole, and now you have to do a little bit of damage control. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't necessarily want to get caught up in that area where now you feel like you have to do damage control. You don't want to get into that place. Queen of Pentacles. We have to, so it's about balancing out that energy. I think that, all right, here it is. We have so much creative potential, and we have so much passion and fire energy, and we want to change things, and we want to move things forward, and that's great, and that's beautiful, but we have to kind of have a plan. We have to balance it out. That's the reason why I have two queens here. You have fire, and then you have earth. So you have to balance that passion that you have with logic and grounding it, right? You'll probably see this pop up more once the moon goes into Taurus. But this is, like I said, this is one of those days where people may get a little trigger happy. People may get a little trigger happy with their emotions, with making certain decisions. And these decisions will not only affect you, but it will affect the people around you. It'll affect your family, your friends, or if you're like, say, if you're like the president of a company or a boss or whatever like that, it's going to affect your employees. So we have to have some discernment here. And I think that's what this Queen of Pentacles is teaching the Queen of Wands, is that we can have all the passion in the world and really want to do things, but if it's just, untethered and not focused and harnessed, then it can burn down a whole forest. That's the thing. Fire itself is something that can be it's an awesome creative force, but it also can be very destructive. And that's the thing about this. And with this being the queen, this is going to be more of an emotional aspect too. So we don't want to get destructive with the energy, with that fiery passion that we bring to the table. We want to focus it and harness that energy. And we want to ground that energy. Bottom of the deck, I have the moon card. I'm telling you, like today, like I said, it's the first quarter square of the moon, and we are going to want to take some kind of action. The day starts off with Mars at 9 degrees, and it moves to 10 degrees, and then we get that that first quarter moon, and it nets to a 9, which is Mars energy. So it's, like I said, this is a day where we can definitely feel the power. We have to learn how to ground it. We have to learn how to ground the energy. It's almost like lightning too, but we have to learn how to ground the energy. If there's a moment today where things get a little bit intense and your nervous system kind of starts to go out of whack of sorts, because there's a lot of energy coming through, ground. It will be super, super important on a day like today to ground that energy, because there's a lot. We can feel that Sun and Pluto coming together, and this is the last time that we will see Sun and Pluto in Capricorn in our lifetime. The last time we will ever see that, unless you live for another 248 years. We won't ever see this again. So that is going to do it for your astrology forecast for this Hump Day, Wednesday, January 17th of 2024. Hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day. I will see you all in the next astrology forecast. Peace.